This is Ricky Jackson. He spent over 39 years in prison for a murder he did not commit. Jackson, arrested at 18 years old, living in Cleveland, Ohio. The main witness in the case was a 12-year-old kid named Eddie Werner, who in fact did not see anything. And he said the police pressured him into testifying against Jackson, which led to his conviction. Jackson initially was sentenced to die in an electric chair. But after spending 2 years in death row, his death sentence was reduced to life in prison. Nearly 4 decades later, the now 52 years old Eddie Werner came forward with the truth, stating that he never saw the murder happen. Charges against Jackson were dropped, and after being wrongfully imprisoned for 39 years, this is the moment that Jackson hears that he's a free man to go.
Mr. Jackson, you're going to be free to go. Life is filled with small victories, and this is a big one. I wish you good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Jackson is now outside for the first time as a free man. Jackson received $1 million in compensation from the state and an additional $2.65 million for lost income. This is John Bunn. He spent 27 years wrongfully convicted of murder.
I'm an innocent man, Your Honor, and I have always been an innocent man.
While living in Brooklyn, New York, Bunn was only 14 years old when he was arrested by NYPD Detective Louis Carcella. Bunn later spent 16 years behind bars and then 11 years out on parole, where he still fought to prove his innocence. Then finally, his conviction was overturned based on the wrongdoing of Detective Carcella and the fact that there was not proper cause to arrest Bunn in the first place.
Y'all convicted and had a wrong man in prison.
And after 27 years of fighting to clear his name, he's finally exonerated.
I want to thank you, Your Honor, because in 27 years, I've been fighting for my life.
But before he leaves the courtroom, he has a moment with the judge. Bunn later filed a lawsuit against the city of New York and Detective Carcella. This is David Ranta. He spent 22 years behind bars for murder he did not commit in Brooklyn, New York. Ranta was arrested by Detective Louis Carcella. Wrongfully, Ranta was put in a police lineup run by Carcella and was identified as the shooter. Decades later, reportedly, the key witness revealed that the detective had provided him with a description of whom to pick in the lineup. There was no physical evidence linking Ranta to the killing, and the evidence presented to the jury was allegedly fabricated. Ranta was then convicted and sentenced to 37.5 years to life in prison. But after spending over 20 years in prison, the former witnesses admitted they were pressured into testify against Ranta. Now, this is the moment his conviction gets thrown out.
Mr. Ranta, to say that I'm sorry for what you have endured would be an understatement and grossly inadequate, but I say it to you anyway. The defendant's motion to vacate the judgment of conviction is granted.
After his handcuffs were removed, he hugged his family with all he owned thrown over his back. He walks out a free man. After his release, he reportedly received $2 million from the state and $6.4 million settlement from the city of New York. This is Kirsten Lobato. She served 16 years in prison for a murder she did not commit. At 18 years old, she was charged with the brutal murder of a homeless man in Las Vegas. She was first convicted of first-degree murder, but on a retrial, she was convicted on the lesser charge of voluntary manslaughter and sentenced to 13 to 45 years. And after spending 16 years behind bars, a new hearing was presented with evidence that confirmed the actual day of the victim's death was when Lobato was 3 hours away with her family. proving that Lobato could not have possibly committed these crimes. This is Lobato outside for the first time as a free woman.
I feel excited, I feel grateful, I'm so happy.
Lobato filed a lawsuit against the Las Vegas Police Department and her compensation claim is ongoing.